Hello and welcome back to our series of interviews with Euros members across the world. I'm delighted to be talking again with my dear friend Maria Kouris. We spoke back on the 26th of March, which we were just saying before the recording, it seems like ages ago and it also seems like yesterday. It's like over this crisis, time has become this very strange thing. How are you, Maria? You're in your beautiful garden. How are you?
Hi, Dom. First of all, thank you. It's lovely to see you again. I am fine. I'm a little bit tired because, you know, Euros conference is always a tiring thing. So, but thank you for what you did last week. It was great as well, seeing all the faces and hearing the lovely presentations. So yes, I'm here. The weather is great in Athens. And I'm sure you want to ask us about COVID.
I do. Unfortunately, there's only one topic of conversation. It's so funny. I mean, I keep saying this to people, but, you know, not even 2 months ago, there was nothing on the news in Britain except for Brexit. And now, I mean, we haven't heard that word, you know, for 2 months.
Amazing.
So, and you said the same thing when we were talking about Greece. It was the migrant crisis that was at the top of the, you know, the news conferences before this began. How are things now in Greece? When we spoke before, you were still in fairly strict lockdown. What's going on now?
Mm-hmm. It's great you ask, because we are in a totally different mentality now. So Greece has been going very well with the pandemic. The results have been good because of the lockdown. So altogether, there have been 150 deaths, which is a good number. And yeah, the samples have been 110,000 around, and all the cases have been around 2,800. So it's a very good number, and we understood that also because the government used to come in the TV every day, and they were telling us, you know, the condition of the country. Now they change it to 3 times per day. So we realized that it's going better, and they also announced an exit plan, which of course it will be adjusted, but we are now in phase 2 of the exit plan. Let me just shall I tell you a little bit the exit plan?
Yes, please, great.
Okay, so until May the 4th, we were in complete lockdown. We had, in order to move, we had to get a specific permission with an SMS, and we had to carry a document with us if we were going somewhere outside our property's perimeter, you know, like 5 kilometers away. We had to have an excuse. Since May the plan that the government announced is divided into 3 main parts. First was May the 4th, which was Monday before, not this Monday before, yeah. And it was first we didn't have to have an excuse to go out. So you can move outside your property and you can go everywhere inside your region.
Okay.
So this was a good thing. And some of the shops opened, but only hairdressers.
Okay.
Which apparently it's an interesting thing in Greece, that people needed that. Beauty salons and sports shops. So these are the first shops that they opened. This was for one. So phase 1 was for May the 4th. Phase 2 is for Monday, May the 11th.
Mm-hmm.
And then phase 3 will be Monday, May the 18th. So on May the 4th, as I told you, there was no restriction to move anymore, not a specific permission. In phase 2, which was last Monday, some commercial shops opened, not malls, but other commercial shops. Yeah. And the oldest students of the schools, you know, the ones that they have to have exams to go to the university, they also went to school. So that was last Monday. Before I say about phase 3, I just want to tell you that already the government says that they are happy with what has been going on through phase 1 and phase 2, meaning that a lot of people went outside, and you can see why. And the beaches are full, which is a good and a thing that concerns them a little bit. But the good thing is that we haven't had yet a big increase in cases. So that's what it remains to be seen. On the phase 2 on Monday, I forgot to tell you now, is that the second, which is a very big thing, the second grade of the students will go to school. So the schools are opening not for the younger, for let's say 10 years old and less, they will not go to school. But for the 10-year-old and over, they will go next Monday. Did I confuse you?
No, that makes perfect sense. Okay. I mean, that's so the secondary age children are going back to school on Monday. I mean, there's a lot of things for me that are very interesting about that. Firstly, it's an extraordinary feat of the government to have kept the numbers that low. That is amazing. And I mean, when we spoke before, you said people were obeying the rules, they were doing the right thing. There was a sort of national spirit of let's get this over and done with. The fact that the numbers are so low, even with the population of Greece being so much lower than the United Kingdom, even if you scale them up, that's remarkable. I mean, fantastic.
Dom, that was a very confronting thing for all of us because we were scared of our medical system, the public medical system. We have a very good private medical system in Greece, but the public medical system we were very scared on what was going on if this thing expanded, like we saw in other countries. So yes, I think that Greeks tamed their Mediterranean spirit, and they acted very maturely. I think it was partly because of fear, speaking personally as well. But the result is amazing, and this is what we keep on talking, you know, little talks that we have in the neighborhood or between our loved ones. This is what we all keep saying, and this is something very important to keep us positive and with hope.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's quite a few things in a way. So you were saying about the beaches, obviously, like I can see the weather is beautiful. The temptation then is to start, you know, getting back together to see each other. Do you still have social distancing rules in place?
Distance, if you meet, the government has told us that we have to obey 3 rules, but they are in a way an individual responsibility. So you have to keep a distance of 2 meters, yes. You have to wash your hands, not to wear gloves. They are not so keen in wearing gloves because they have also mentioned the danger of feeling that you are protected by gloves and then you don't really use them correctly. So it's wash your hands and put a mask when you are in closed areas with other people. In very rare cases, you are obliged to have a mask, otherwise you will be fined. Mm-hmm. But we see that the restrictions and the fine and the things that they were really imposing on us, they are gradually decreasing because they see that people are behaving. Of course, they also mentioned that everything can be adjusted because it depends from the numbers.
Exactly.
Yeah. Did I answer your question about the distancing?
Yeah, 2 meters.
Yeah, on the other hand, we saw, you know, in the, how do you say, in the squares, you know, like in the squares of...
In the city, yeah.
Yeah. When there was the first uplift that we can go out, suddenly the squares were really... And in some places, it was too much. And the government imposed a specific restriction on that square. So this was a good thing because, you know, they sort of told the people that, look, if you behave, we need to open the economy, we need to open the country, we don't want to have you locked there. But if you don't behave, regionally, we will need to impose measures, which is, according, again, personally, I find it a very logical argument.
Absolutely. No, I totally agree. And it's interesting. I was talking to Susanna Born in Madrid last week, and she was saying the same, that the Spanish government made the first steps towards opening up and allowing people to go out between certain times. And she sent me, she said she went out for a walk. You could go 1 kilometer away from your house. And she sent me a photograph of her street in Madrid. And it was like London at Christmas time, you know, just thousands and thousands of people, I mean, wearing masks and trying to do the right thing, but like you say, and then the government had to say no.
Mm-hmm. That is the same. They have told us about this weekend. We are expecting 40 degrees.
Oh my gosh.
And the first heat wave in May.
Wow. That's early.
It's early. It's very early. And so the government has said that, look, guys, we understand you want to go to the beach. We understand, but pay attention. Otherwise, we will have to go back to a more imposed situation, which is normal.
Yeah. It's funny how we're kind of, I don't know, 3 months ago, a government restricting our movements to that extent would have been seen as a huge infringement on our human rights. And now, like you say, we all go, well, that's logical. Okay, of course, that's what we have to do. It's like the community's changed. It's very interesting. Very interesting.
It's very interesting what you're saying. A lot of things have changed, and now, and Dom, because I heard that you want to also do a cultural report. So I can tell you that in Greek society is sorry for the English, but you will understand what I want to say. Greek society we are really dependent on family ties. So the fact that this virus, at the beginning at least, it affected the elder people and we were scared about the older ones, made us, I think that's another reason that made us more cautious of the whole thing. Because in Greece, 90% of the families are, the grandparents are taking care of the grandchildren. So, so because we are so dependent on these family ties, we had to respect the rules, because not only for ourselves, but for the wider family.
I think there is something very culturally interesting there, and I wonder whether it will bear out with the research that Sabine's doing. Obviously, she's going to speak with you, but the you know, you look at the cultures like Greece, like China, again, where, you know, the elderly are revered and, you know, such a huge part of the family, the same. And whether there is a difference there between the way that people accepted the rules, the way that people decided to behave, as against a community like the UK, where, you know, most older people don't live with their children. Our families are spread out. Like in the United States, you know, you might live in a long, long way from your family. I wonder, I'm very interested to hear that.
And to be honest, I'm very interested on the same subject to see, because now our responsibility has shifted from taking care of the elder ones and the wider family to the individual responsibility. Because now we have to take care of ourselves and to pay attention to for every person has to take care of what we said before, the distance, the mask, the gloves, or whatever. And there I'm very interested to see how the Greeks will react, because, you know, sometimes it's easier to be more responsible because you care for another than when you care about yourself. So this is something to be seen.
That's a very interesting observation. That really is. Another thing I wanted to ask you, because Greece is so unusual in Europe, in that, you know, it is the two main cities are in the mainland, Thessaloniki and Athens, and then a huge population in the very dispersed islands. Has there been a big difference between the numbers between the two, you know, between the urban population and the island population, and has that impacted how people have behaved?
It is true. In many islands that they had no cases at all. It was for them, and the measures were very good because they you know, when the lockdown was announced, one of the first reactions was everybody to go to the islands. They wanted to go.
Yeah, you've got a home on the island, you're going, yeah.
And this was a very scary and risky thing because, you know, the medical situation in the islands is
completely different,
very restricted. Yeah. So the government was very quick in saying no. So yes, I think that this, because we have so many islands and the main cities, as you said, are in the mainland, this helped the Greece in the pandemic. Now, on next week, next Monday, Crete will open.
Oh, wow.
As the main, yeah, Crete will open, and we will be able to go. We will, I mean, the Greek people will be able to go. Not airplanes so far, but
the boats.
But the boats, I'm not sure about the airplanes from Athens, locally, I'm not sure. But it will open, and then we will again have to see how this will turn out to be. The same thing goes with I think the Commission is having a meeting today to the European Commission to decide on tourism, and this will have a major effect in Greece as well because it's in discussions everywhere.
Right, absolutely huge. I mean, and that's something else that's so interesting about Greece, particularly because, you know, like you say, you have Crete and the two main towns, Rithymno and Heraklion, and they're both having airports, right?
You're amazing. You're amazing. You know all the names.
But it's both our main airports, and so therefore you've done so incredibly well to keep the virus numbers down. There's such a balance between opening up tourism, which is so necessary because the country, you know, an island of Crete is dependent, and on bringing those numbers back up. This is very tough.
True, is a great bet, but so far I can tell you that I haven't seen Greek people so united in terms, it's not a political thing, you know, it's the right government or the left government. It's that we feel very united in what the government is telling us, and because so far the results are there, they are worldwide, and this, you speak with old people, you speak with young people, and they are all calm in what is going on, again, in relation to the whole world. So yes, it's a big bet, but there have been so many discussions about and tests about tourism and measures on what the hotels need to pay attention to. Strangely enough, and I want to tell you because it's very relevant to our profession, we have had as a company a very strange, a different a different service that we have initiated during these days, and it is the following. We have had assignees which are in Greece, and they want to plan their vacation in Greece because of the results. So they're planning ahead and they're saying, look, this year I will stay here and I want to go in an island. So do you have anything to propose? On the other hand, we have owners that they are owners of summer places that they rent during the summer. And so far they were renting through the site or through Airbnb, but now they prefer people that have stayed in Greece.
Absolutely.
To come. So they have approached us, informing us of the measures and of the thermometers and for everything that they will have in their property in order to attract this kind of tourism. So it's very interesting because it's something that just appeared now and it's in the market and it's a need.
That's really innovative. I wanted to ask you how your teams were doing and, and what's going on, because I know when we spoke back in March, you were saying that your team had been so positive because they were still helping people to negotiate, to navigate, to understand the rules, to understand what was changing. And this is great. So you're still really in touch with your assignee population. How are your team coping? Are they doing okay?
They are doing okay. What I love about this team, but I think I love this about the industry in general, is that it's, if I can use one word for characterizing our industry, is agility. And human being, we are agile creatures. We need to be anyway. We cannot survive otherwise. So yes, the team has shown this agility and I'm very proud of this because they are still working hard and communicating with assignees, because we see that there are a lot of needs, unpredictable needs that come along the way. It was very touching because we met first time last week. What we have decided is to continue working remotely because we saw that this is feasible. But we will be meeting for our weekly meeting. 1 week is going to be half the team and the management, the other week is going to be half the team and the other half team, and the rest will be remote. So we did that last week and it was so touching. We realized what you just said and what I felt when I saw you, that time has passed so quickly and that it was funny. We're Greeks. I mean, it's everywhere in the world, and I can say that you are more than Greek in that. But when we saw each other, we wanted to touch each other. Yes. We missed touching each other. So the team is going well. The work is continuing still, of course, with like ups and downs and. But still things are, we are waiting to see how. We haven't seen big changes except the whole remote thing that we are trying to help as much as we can remotely. But because we can also move now, we were able to visit an assignee's place and give them something. Like one assignee had his plates taken and we had to go and assist with this. So we're really on the move, and the team is optimistic in relating to work. So this is a good thing.
That's fantastic. And I mean, are you seeing, given how well things have gone, I say touch wood, I keep this wooden ruler.
Do you know, Dom, parenthesis, very quick. Do you know where this comes from, touch wood?
No, I don't.
I heard that it's from Wales, and it's that some nymphs, you know, some fairies were living, people believe that they were living in the woods, in the trees. So when you want to say something and you don't want the fairy, you want the fairy to help, you know, you say touch.
That's hilarious. I mean, weirdly, I am Welsh, and we are very superstitious people. So my mum had all of these things. Touch wood, you had to say hello to a magpie, you'd never cut, you know, all of this stuff. So anyway, sorry. Because I wanted to, I mean, in terms of like what's going forward, are your assignments still as they were back in March, still planned, but just postponed?
Okay. Thank you for the question. This is a question that has been going on in my mind, not because of the numbers I can tell you, but I realized that we don't have a lot of course, our work has decreased because a lot of assignments have been on hold, especially everything that concerns tourism. But in general, as a company, and you know, all these years, if you asked me a question in general about our work, I would start nagging that we're in Greece, we're a small destination country, we see the numbers of the other countries and we're jealous, and we have we don't have the same case, the same service for many assignees, but we all have the unpredictable, unique cases, and this is where you have to put more effort. And you know, I would nag a lot. Now, because of the pandemic, I can say that this has turned into an advantage for us, meaning that we don't see the core nature of our business changing a lot, because we don't have this. I think that COVID has affected, so far at least, the short-term assignments, the bulky assignments that many people were going for one project to one place. While Greece, because it's not this kind of a destination country, we have the long-term. You said something, I lost you.
No, I was just saying because the economy is different. It's built around a different set of parameters. Yeah, I get that.
Correct. So the truth is that we were expecting a lot of big short-term assignments because of the investment that was going to take place in Greece, and we still expect this kind of assignments. But so far, the main relocation services that were a long-term relocation, you know, like a family coming all together and moving here for 2 years, these have remained stable. They just postponed the date.
Yeah.
And we are getting prepared. And for the first time in history, we have a lot of time to get prepared for that. So we speak with the assignee, we will speak again. So for us, it's very good because the speed is lower in terms of life for everybody. For our work, this is better, because when you understand your client, your assignee better, you can do a better job. So
that is so interesting, because it's what you have all as a community been saying for the last 10 years. You know, we need more lead time, we need more information, we want to help as much as we can. And this is almost like, okay, you've got 3 months before somebody is even moving, and so therefore you can get to know them, you can get, you know, that's interesting shift.
Let me say something else, which it may turn against me, but I want to say it. It's I have seen a relevant thing with RMCs as well. You know, RMCs, you know, there's this, or I know, you know, you have so many focus groups on that as well, on the conflict or on the cooperation between DSPs and RMCs. And I've seen that during the COVID, because the speed again is lower, and because RMCs also had to take their measures on the employees, and some employees were working less. So it was easier for us to have time to speak with the management on some issues, or to ask some things that before we didn't have the time or the energy to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, all these things have made us work more closely on things, and this was a very good thing to happen.
It's fascinating because it's like, you know, if we can come out of this as an industry, as an industry which provides an incredible service, you know, a service which is so unique, with the knowledge that actually the best practice is what we learned during a disaster, which you've been saying all along. You've been saying all along, we need more time, we need more information. We can do our best work when we're best prepared for the people that we're assisting. I mean, it's a bit like, you know, every time there's a disaster in the aviation industry, the lessons that are learned make everything better going forward. It would be so lovely to think that out of this dramatic period in our shared history, that processes could become better. You know, that you can say to your clients, your direct clients, you know, this is what we learned during COVID, and we think this is great. This is going to really help people.
True. You know, I was speaking with an assignee some half an hour ago, and this is exactly what we were talking about, that we feel that people are, for us, it's our second nature because it's our job, and we need to remain human in order to do our job. But for other people, that they are working a lot and they don't have the time, and they don't forget, but you know, they're urged not to be so human, but to be more professional only. And they have felt it now, that it's better. They feel much better doing their work when they feel that they have more time for things to be at the right time and slower. It's a huge discussion on this one. But again, yeah, just to say that in the history of the world, after the big catastrophes, wars and things, something good came up. So I think this is what we have to stress, that we have to stress on the good things that we can take out of this thing, because everything is in here. Everything is in here.
It's so true. And I always love talking to you. You have a fantastic perspective, and you're completely right. We must not forget what we learn during this. And it's, you know, that's the key, isn't it? That we don't just rush back to how things were. We take what we've learned.
But Dom, we are human beings is an animal that forgets very quickly.
So true. I tell you, I will forget very quickly. When I'm lying on a beach in Crete and Rhythm, I will forget. I'll just be on holiday. So, thank you so much, Maria. It's just lovely to talk to you. I would love to catch up again as the summer progresses, you know, as we go into July, find out how things are with you then. But in the meantime, it's just great to see you. I hope that things continue in Greece with the fantastic positivity that they have, and enjoy the very, very hot weather. Stay indoors, air conditioning on. I would.
Well, air conditioning, no, because of the COVID, is not a good thing.
What's that? No.
Yes, they have a big issue with air conditioning because of the air that doesn't.
Yeah. That's not moving. That's moving.
So the boats, what are the boats between the islands? They all had air conditioning. But anyway, it's another thing that they're discussing. But Dom, before we close, I wanted to say something which is really very important, and I'm not saying just to be heard. That I really want to thank you for the offering of the MIM trainings, because no, really, I've had my team is trying to attend as many as they can. It's very funny because sometimes I call them to ask something and they say, please, I'm on the MI training and I have to take the test, so please, I want to remember, can we talk later? But I've seen that you have saved us so much time, especially for they're updated. So the team, I have some new members that I have saved so much time from my own training that I need to do to them. And also the management team that they are also viewing them. It's things that you update them on what is going on now, because when you do your work every day, like myself, I think I know everything, but I forget things, as we said. So when I see trainings that are updated and I'm getting again updated on the market, is very important, and I really a big thank you for that.
Oh, that's really kind of you to say, and we are delighted to be able to do it. I mean, again, I've said it last week that even a year ago we wouldn't have been able to have done that because we didn't have the academy, we didn't have the content online. So I mean, I have to pass what you've said back to all our amazing trainers who've done so brilliantly to get that program up, and we're updating it now, and probably over the next month, some of the more key modules, like especially the ones for your new people that you're onboarding, we're going to bring those up to date again. I mean, it's difficult to make any real updates in the light of what's been going on, but at least to acknowledge the fact that
but please go back to the members. I think that I don't know if there are a lot of people attending them, but they give so much value to so if as a reminder or something, that for sure I will be telling some friends, because it's really worth it. And I'm not saying it just to say it. I'm saying it to help other people like myself to do things.
Well, we have been amazed by the response. People have been really, and we've had so many take-ups. It's extraordinary. And we've even had people send us a note saying, I'm still going to pay, and because they want to help, which is lovely. But we don't expect that at all. It is free. That's the whole point. We made it free for the members because, let's face it, at this time, when else are we going to have the time? So it's the best thing to do.
Well, when you actually do the training, you say, my God, I should always make the time to do it.
I feel
but then we forget.
We won't forget. Thank you so much. It's been lovely to catch up with you, as it always is. We'll catch up again in the summer, and in the meantime, stay well and stay safe. Thanks, Maria. I'll see you soon.
Thank you, Dom. Bye-bye.